Sagittarius family, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we are doing your weekly reading. So welcome. Come on in. No, I know these are videos. No, I'm just being silly. So these readings are timeless, but if you are watching them in real time, we have a new moon solar eclipse happening this week, April 20th, just as we are leaving Aries season. Solar eclipses bring a lot of change into our external environment. So whatever you've been working on, whatever you've been plugging away at, etc., you're going to start seeing some fruits of your labor, whether good or bad, unfortunately. It is a nice time for things to open up, a little bit more momentum, not as much labor intensive, etc. But then on April 21st, we move into Mercury retrograde. Wah wah. So communication is going to be a little wonky. Miscommunications are more than likely, especially when it comes to technology, texting. Try not to assume. Easier said than done. Past things come up, right? That need to be talked about, that need to be seen, understood, etc. So, it's gonna, I'm kind of hearing it as it's gonna give us the opportunity to put our plans into action. The intentions that we're setting with the new moon, it's gonna give us that chance to show the universe we really want it. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. So these cards are a little, have a big glare. They are really pretty though. So a lot of change, right, is happening, and big changes. Anytime that death card comes up, it does really signify rebirth. It's releasing and letting go of the old, what doesn't serve us. The cool thing about the new moon this month, guys, is that it's actually the second new moon of Aries. So Aries is the house of self. We get to be a little bit more selfish, put time, energy into self-love, self-care. So we better understand the things that we want to make us happy, right? Having a fulfilling life. We all want that. That's the whole point, I think. At least as of right now. And so that often means that we have to let go of the other BS, the things that are standing in that way. It's not always easy. There still is work to do, soul work, right? And that is probably what this is all about. Just like I was saying, that Mercury retrograde comes in to make sure we are doing the work. Okay, if you want this thing, A, B, and C, whatever, X, Y, and Z, whatever letter you want, no. We have to kind of prove it, right? We have to show that we're willing to say no to the stuff, let go that doesn't serve us, get creative with what's happening in our environment. Remember that manifestation is not linear. Linear meaning going from A to B to C, right? There's actually loops and spirals and energy. It's very fluid. And when we understand that, it does help us get a little bit more creative. It's not so rational or just push ahead, right? Sagittarian energy is really fiery. It's all about expansion, overcoming, etc. And it's a beautiful energy, but it can also, take on too much, doing everything yourself, pushing the ball forward, etc. So this is being able, and I feel like you know what this is. I feel like you know what you need to let go of. I feel like you know where the changes are happening. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom. You might not like it, you know. I feel like, especially with the soul work, this is all about deeper layers, things that we might not be cognizant of on the surface value. That's life, right? Self-protection comes through, you know, independence. So this is kind of like, you know, I mean, especially if you've come from a period where there was a lot of judgment, there was a lot of, gossip, friendship, community has been challenging, difficult. There is this element of you kind of self-protecting, spending time with yourself. I think it's also triggering that change that we see. And I feel like there is a need for this right now. You got to pick and choose your battles, Sagittarius. The things that are stressing you out aren't worth it. They aren't worth it, you know? And it doesn't mean you have to cut off that person, place, or thing. But if it's too much, if it's too overwhelming, then there does need to be better boundaries. And usually that happens through taking the time to reflect, really look at, sense out the wisdom. And that's what you're doing. And it is this process of release and letting go. It might be painful, like I said, especially when we hope people are going to be our friends, our support, our nurture, our cheerleaders, however you want to see it, right? It's really disappointing. It sucks, you know? I think it's the higher level, higher value for you, Sagittarius, of finding the things that really make you feel strong, grounded, and balanced. Like that is when we are our most successful, our most productive, is when we're coming from that space of knowing ourselves, knowing who we are, because then we can maintain more balance, more autonomy. Knowing when we need to step back in order to, gain our strength. So then we can put ourselves out there. You do kind of have this hermit energy. There's this part of you that's like blocking something within your own self. And I kind of see this energy this week for you as like taking time to really figure out what that is. Because you are stressed out. There is a lot on your plate. It's hard to kind of navigate life when, we're just thinking about the next thing we got to get done, right? That's the point of setting aside time for self-care, self-love, etc., doing things for you, because that's our fuel, that's our rejuvenation. And we each have different measure of that. Maybe you're working, focusing really intentionally, I should say, on money, finances, especially with that Four of Pentacles. There's that heartbreak, things that just haven't really worked out how you hoped or anticipated. Again, this could be about business. This could be about your money, your finances. Community comes through. You could have a strong community within your work environment. But it's like, this overarching energy for you is talking about the need to kind of self-protect this week. Be more autonomous. Yeah, be polite and friendly where you need to, etc. But things are changing and you need to be really clear around what it is you are taking out of the equation. It's harder than what it needs to be. And that's the thing. Whatever this is, that you have to let go of, it's just more work than what it needs to be. There's a lot of work. There's a lot attached to it. It's a little bit of breadcrumbing energy, whether it's intentionally coming from this person's situation or not. And not really wanting to talk about it, not wanting to deal with it, not really, it's not serving you because it's making you feel stressed out. For some reason, you might be holding on to the hope, the notion that it's going to be different. If you just wait it out, keep pushing. But essentially what you're doing, like we talked about, is blocking yourself, what you need, what you want, what is actually going to make you grow and thrive. The partnership or desire for partnership, it's not happening, you know. Jeez, man. It's like someone doesn't really want to talk. Again, they're avoiding it. They don't want to talk about it. It's really superficial. It's incredibly immature. 2 pages with the Lovers. So it's someone who really doesn't know how to manage the connection appropriately. And so there's a lot of scapegoating. And it's not like I was talking about earlier, it's not helping you, Sagittarius, get from point A to point B. Instead, it's actually holding you back and tying you down. And I think you know that, but I feel like you just don't know how to proceed forward. Maybe you're too tied into this person, or, you know, it was a situation that you got too entangled, embedded in. You thought it was going to go differently. You thought there was a lot of potential with this. But it's not really turning out. There you go. Stepping up into that Father of Wands. So it's like what you have to do for yourself to make your stuff happen. No longer being reliant. You know, maybe you've kind of hid yourself or not let your proverbial light shine, because you don't want to mess with this person, you don't want to challenge, you don't want fighting, tension, etc. But then it's like, you know, especially as the week progresses, and this might be attached to the new moon, whatever changes are happening for you. You know, it's like you grab the bull by the horns and you like walk away from the BS. This is that release energy, that 8 of Cups, letting go of the toxicity, unhealthy patterns, what doesn't serve you, what's making you weak, right? What's blocking your creativity, your sensuality, your magnetism. 1, 2, 3, 4 was on the clock. So it's like what you're building and growing towards, right? It's sequential movement forward. I love everything in its right place. No. But true, yeah. Amidst the conflict. And there might be some conflict that comes out, something that actually happens to kind of put this into motion, especially with that 5. For some of you, there will be an interaction and it will be a little bit heated. The new moon is in Aries, so there still is kind of like this fire energy. You know, you can see it with the interactions. People are just a little bit more on edge. They're a little more pumped up, letting those words fly, etc. Making sure that's not coming from you. I mean, I see you actually like kind of standing in your power, but in a deep way, you know. It's like you're healing something that maybe has followed you your whole life, a pattern, a way of showing up in relationships, putting yourself on the back burner, not allowing yourself to have, you know, what you deserve, that empowerment. But you're finding this harmony and balance, which is amazing, to empower both parts of you, that masculine and that feminine, which really is all about like finding the harmony within. Pranayama breathing is a great way to do that. Side note. So self-worth, this has come up a lot. It's all attached to what we believe we deserve. You know how like sometimes the most arrogant people have like the best lives? It's just because they believe they deserve that. And the law of attraction is not different for anyone. Establishing that hope. It might not be coming in this week, right? Like what you're wanting, what you're wishing for, the work that you've been doing, 444 on the clock. But it's recognizing that you are on that journey. You're on that process. You're almost there. And I feel like we plant the seeds, we till the soil, we do the work, but then we have to find the freedom and let go and surrender and let spirit, universe, God, however you understand it, bring our manifestations to us, what we're hoping for. And you are doing that, Sagittarius, which is really beautiful. It's just this process of, again, letting go of that which doesn't serve you. That's what is blocking you, what's making you feel like a POS, you know? No one wants that. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you dropping by. I hope that this helps navigate whatever you're working through. I'm here for all the love and support. I do readings, energy healings, wellness consult. Hit me up if you are interested. Big thumbs up if it resonated. Drop comments below. Let's build and grow the community. Lots of love.